Nini everyone, Zabora here. So we have a little bit of an update to the Curse the Moon, Hex the Fae movement that's going on over there at Witch Talk. So I personally think it's just funny. Um, but a few other people, they're taking it quite seriously. And the reason why they are, and one of my coven mates, he kind of pointed this out, as did another one. They both kind of said, like, hey, this is attacking deities. And I, as an atheist, didn't quite take it as that sort of look, but it does make sense. If you're someone who works with deities and you're someone who has a great connection to these specific energies, and you feel someone is attempting to attack them or even claiming to be attacking them, it may give you a little bit of that righteous anger and make you want to fight back and attack these people who are doing this. Because how dare they insult them or whatever else. I personally think that any god that can't take a fucking joke, is not a god worth working with. But, not everybody feels the way I do. So, I did get asked by Blue Sage, like, do the Egyptians have gods of the moon, and who are they, and how do you think they would have responded? And I says, I'm not really too sure, because I'm not like I'm not really too well versed on Khonsu, and he's one of the major Egyptian moon deities, but I do know that how Tahuti would have reacted. So I'm gonna go with maybe what Tahuti would have done. Hopefully in some later research I can learn a little bit more about Khonsu and tell you about him. You know what, why don't we make that our next deity? I was gonna do Montu as requested by the mad magician Karos, but I think I'm gonna do Khonsu before I do Montu. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do that next couple days. Anyway, Tahuti is kind of a trickster god. He gambled with the moon to win extra days in order to allow the children of the primordial sky and earth, Geb and Nut, to be born. And those children were Horus the Elder, Set, Osiris, the big players. So I think Tahuti would have personally seen it as a joke and brushed it off as I did. But if we're talking mythologically, what the response would have been, well, an attack on the moon, if we are taking that stance of an attack on the moon or the sun, because the sun was also attacked, supposedly, as well as ancient gods that have long been forgotten, which this person called the Ancient Ones, and I did reference this in my video. If we take this idea that you're attacking the deity when you attack the energy surrounding the celestial body of the moon or the sun, then what would have happened is Tahuti would have gone to Ra, because he is one of the messengers of Ra, and he would have said, hey, one of your enemies, one of these little fuck nuggets down here, is trying to use Heka, trying to use magic to curse us. He's trying to use that beautiful tool that you gave to people against us. Wipe his ass out. And Ra would have sent his eye down to earth to slaughter that little bitch, because that has been recorded before. It's the story of the eye goddess, whether it's Bas, Tefnut, Sekhmet, Mut, whoever you identify with that story. The eye was taken, Ra took his eye and threw it to earth, and it transformed into the lion-headed deity who slaughtered mankind. And they had to be stopped through beer and pomegranate juice, because their bloodlust was so great that they started killing everyone, not just the enemies of Ra. So that's what would have happened if, we're coming from a mythological standpoint. The gods would wipe you the fuck out, and they don't care if you're going to act against their better nature and do isfet, sin, however you want to classify wrongness. If you're going to do that, then I'm going to snuff you out. and then afterwards your soul would have traveled, or actually your soul would have dissipated into 5 different parts. You probably would not have been mummified, which is sort of required to put your soul back together so that you can then begin the journey to Duat or through Duat, where you then face the demons of Anubis. That's another thing. Anubis has this huge, giant, demonic army. If you think that your soul's intact and stuff, and you go to the underworld, he uses that army to torment the souls of people who did bad before they can even reach the Hall of Two Truths. I mean, if you attack one god, you're attacking all gods. I mean, you guys remember that from the 90s, the Mighty Ducks. You attack one duck, you attack them all. Alright, it's the same mentality. If you go after one, you go after all. Now, if you're kind of more of that plural form monotheism, or you think like all gods are one god and then the god and goddess are just manifestations of these energies, if you're a little bit more eclectic and with your deity concepts, he's attacking, and because one more person has come forward, they're attacking, excuse me, apparently this is a coven, they're attacking all moon deities. They're attacking all sun deities for attention, I can only assume. They're attacking the Fae. They're attacking those non-human spirits. What exactly is the goal of this? Are you trying to get wiped out? Because this is how you get wiped out. So, I don't know. For me, it's just some idiots playing some games. That's just how I feel about it. But if you happen to feel differently, then fucking drag those bitches. As far as I'm concerned, if you feel like they're personally harming you, or they're going to affect the way that you're going to be able to perform magic, or it's insulting enough that you feel you want to retaliate, fucking do so. I'm not going to judge you on that. Do what you got to do. Light that incense, say that prayer, work that spell. But if again, me personally, if you really think that these gods are as powerful as you claim them to be, then let them handle it. But I don't know. Man, that's just me. Now this video is getting a little long, so I'm just going to go ahead and say this before we end the video. Although I don't know why. My rant videos, my recipe videos, and like my spell videos seem to get the most fucking views. I should just continue to rant and scream and yell, because that's going to get me all the goddamn clicks. Do you know how many goddamn clicks you need before you can get monetized? Do you know how many views you need? It's like 100,000 hours in fucking view time before you can get monetized. That shit takes years. Oh my god. Ridiculous. Alright, anyway, so before we end this video, I would just, I had considered the idea of dismantling some of these TikTok videos that I've seen. Kind of doing, you know how you see those real witches react kind of tags and stuff? Real witches react to Jacqueline Glenn. You know, real witches react to TikTok. Real witches react to BuzzFeed. So, I was thinking about maybe doing something like that, except it would be me looking at the videos for, like, critical things. But I realized that I was almost being like an asshole. And I mean, like, it's easy for me to be an asshole. But I realized, like, it was just going to be, like, this dark, dismantling rant, gatekeeping bullshit. And I'm not entirely sure if that's where I want to go with this channel. And I did talk to Blue Sage about that, and he did kind of also agree. So I think we're going to kind of limit these negative kind of rant TikTok videos down to as much as possible. Like, it's annoying, but personally, I've already expressed way too much interest in this, and I've said my piece. This is obviously troll behavior, and it's working. And if I were a deity believing person, I would not be going around saying that these people aren't witches, because they may in fact be witches. And trickster gods exist. I mean, me personally, this has got Loki's fingerprints all over it. Sorry, I stole that from Lady Witch. But seriously, like if I was actually to believe in deities as having wants and desires as humans do, then I could definitely see this being something that a trickster entity would be doing in order to gain attention for their followers. And like Lady Witch put it like this. It's like me saying, hey, I wonder if this is going to get clicks. And Loki going, I don't know, let's find out. You know, it's one of those things of, it just kind of feels like it's got Coyote all over it. It feels like it's got Set all over it. It feels like it's got Loki. And there is some wisdom thrown in there because it is working. So you do have Tahuti, you do have Prometheus, you do have Hasatan, Ahriman the Opposer. You do have those smart trickster deities kind of interwoven with the pure chaos. And I find that fascinating. So that is it for tonight, guys. Sanate.